Welcome back to the Movie Day Podcast, the one and only podcast that reviews a different film each and every day. Ugh, Jesus. My name is Grant, and I'm your host for this podcast. With me, as always, to dive into the world of cinema, we have Sky.
Well, hello.
And Ryan.
Good evening, all.
I was questioning whether or not you were going to add anything after good evening. So, Ryan.
Yes.
Solid start.
Absolutely. We're not throwing this. We're not getting rid of any of it. What are we talking about, Ryan?
We are talking about The Squid and the Whale. And it's a love story between a squid who falls in love with a whale. And that's it.
I wish.
No, The Squid and the Whale is about, follows two young boys dealing with their parents' divorce. It's directed by Noah Baumbach, and it stars Jeff Daniels, Laura Linney, Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah. Initial thoughts. What do you guys think? It's a short movie, so.
Hour and 20 minutes.
Yes. Short.
I guess we should also say it's on Amazon.
Oh, it's free
Prime.
on Amazon Prime. Forgot about that. That's why I
Free if you have Amazon Prime.
It's on my watch list. Had to get it crossed off. Got it crossed off. Great. Got it. Great. Grand. Wonderful initial thoughts.
That seems to be the theme with all your movies, right? Just checking them off the list.
Dude.
It's like you don't even care about actually seeing films.
Just don't care anymore. I'm done going around what you guys have seen and haven't seen, so I'm just gonna start picking shit. That's how I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it. Well,
I guess, Grant, give us your initial thoughts.
Squid and the Whale. Oh boy. So, Noah Baumbach is a writer for a good amount of Wes Anderson movies. He also wrote and directed a movie that I really liked, Frances Ha, which I think is on Netflix still. I could be wrong. This is definitely one of the movies that I've liked the least of his, but I still liked it to a certain extent. Although I will say this is a very uncomfortable movie to watch. And we may or may not get into some scenes that are the pinnacle.
Well, we're going to have Sky cover those scenes because he's great at covering those scenes.
Exclusively Sky, yes. Although I will say, though, Jeff Daniels gives his best performance, I think, that I've seen from him in this movie. Like, just the sheer repulsiveness of him is just so overwhelming in this movie. But this is a really hard movie in terms of like whether or not to recommend it to people. It's not really a pleasant movie to watch. It's about as pleasant as watching a colossal squid fight a whale. I'd say recommend it. There's a lot of good aspects in the movie, but it's just very uncomfortable to watch.
All right, so is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just add on by saying Wes Anderson actually did produce this film, which I had no idea until watching it this time. And I guess we should also say this is Grant and I's second time seeing it.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it is very repulsive, but like that's like the point of the movie. Like all these people, like honestly, like I mean, we all kind of talked about it briefly, but like all the characters are like kind of garbage. And granted, the kids are more innocent in the sense that like their parents are kind of garbage, mainly Jeff Daniels, but the mom's kind of shitty as well. But yeah, just like the whole divorce and how it affects everyone. And yeah, it is one of those movies that like definitely you don't want to sit down with your family and watch this movie. This is just like if you want to see a movie with some good acting, some really good like realistic writing. I guess realistic in the sense of like these characters because they're like philosophizers and yeah, or what's the
philosophizers?
Yeah, I guess they're just writers, I guess, but they talk in like super fancy etiquette, or at least Jeff Daniels does. But yeah, I would recommend it. It's definitely not for everyone, but it has a lot of good qualities for sure. I'm really interested in hearing Ryan's perspective on this because he just chose this blindly. So,
Well, I was pleased to hear that the director hasn't had any charges filed against him.
See, that's how you know we don't edit stuff out.
No, and on a serious note, yeah, this movie is very uncomfortable to watch. Like, I found myself kind of like cringing quite a bit in this movie, and I cringed a lot in Velvet Buzzsaw. But this movie, I was like, oh my god! Like some of the dialogue in this, it's like, why would you say that? Like, yeah, this is definitely a very uncomfortable movie to watch. But that being said, everybody that acted in it was great. I mean, they sold it really well, and they made you like hate them, and that's what they were going for. And I definitely hated them as characters. So that was cool. It was, it was shot really well. The movie came out in 2005, and it takes place in like the 80s, and it kind of has that like 80s feel to it, which is neat. Like the camera work wasn't like overly, bothersome or anything like that. It was pretty straightforward. But yeah, I can definitely tell like Wes Anderson had his hands on this project in some aspects. Just like some of the dialogue is just something that he would set up, and you could definitely tell like some of his influences were in this film. But as far as recommendations go, I would recommend it if you are a fan of weird cinema. This would be right up your alley. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth checking out if you're a fanatic, because it's interesting, I guess. I mean, it's kind of a down to earth like film, and just about life, man. It's just about life. We'll get more into it in spoiler talk. But
It's
yeah,
the fillet of uncomfortable.
the fillet.
Yeah.
Spoiler talk then for the Squid and the Whale.
Yes, so we're gonna spoilers.
All right.
That was your warning.
Well, I guess I will just start out. This isn't a spoiler, but like I feel like to, I guess, add on to my recommendation. If you like Wes Anderson movies, this is like a darker version of that because of the Noah Baumbach, writing. It doesn't have the style of Wes Anderson, but
Yeah,
the writing is very similar.
Wes Anderson only produced the movie, so he essentially only gave
Money.
Noah Baumbach money
Yeah.
to make the movie.
Yeah.
If he's an executive producer, that might make a little bit of a difference, but
Yeah. But it still felt like that writing
It
is
felt
the
like
same
he had
writing
something
you
to
see in
do with
Wes
it.
Anderson movies.
yeah, because Noah Baumbach is the writer for pretty much
lot of
every
them,
single
yeah.
Wes.
And you can tell. So like, yeah. He's definitely got a style.
Mm-hmm. So the youngest son in the movie was very, very weird. I didn't but I did like throughout the entire movie. What I did like about him is I had no idea what he was gonna do next, and that kind of like kept me intrigued. And I mean, for like a short movie like this, like you don't really like lose the attention span really quick. But the kid just made it like he's the devil, man. Like both of these kids. But you can tell that they get their personalities from their father.
Well, I would say it's both. The dad, because the mom would cheat all the time, and then the dad just has
it was just
horrible
a disaster.
advice
Just
about
a dysfunctional family right from the start.
He's like the world's biggest hipster with the world's biggest ego.
Yeah.
Well, and they're both writers, so like obviously like you know the stereotype of writers have like an ego about themselves, right? And they have a what's the word I'm looking for?
Reputation.
Reputation. I was gonna say representation. A reputation to like uphold, and God, like every writer in every single movie, right? Like every single writer that is in any movie is just always that guy that's so stuck up and so high and mighty and egotistic. Like every single one. It's just crazy. Like writers are just that passionate about.
Well, I think it comes with the job, I guess. You have to believe in yourself so much because it's all on you.
Yeah.
So,
But like,
kinda,
and then they're also judgmental towards others.
yeah. Well, at least they are, this movie. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the kids, I don't have like they're definitely like annoying as hell. And, like you're just like, geez, you can't stand them. But you can tell perfectly from the writing that like they get it from their parents. Like they're so confused about dating, like sex and all that stuff that it's like messed them up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
again, it's like disturbing as hell, but like it's super realistic, and I think they did a good job, I guess, portraying that in the movie.
Yeah, it's basically a what not to do for parents.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very frightening.
Yeah, the scene with like any of the scenes with the dad and like the girl that like moves in, like this, she's not really a student. No, she's a student.
Anna Paquin's character.
Yeah, that
I
was
think
just
Lily,
so
right?
weird to watch.
Yeah, Lily.
Lily.
Just knowing that she's so much younger, like, oh my god, it just bothers me, dude. Like, I don't care if it's legal or not, man. That's just
Oh, dude,
you gotta watch out with that shit. Like,
oh, the ethics in this movie are
yeah, there
definitely
is
in
no
question.
ethics, man. Like the younger kid, the little brother, is drinking all the time, and like, like, damn, you could tell there was no discipline.
Yeah, like just when you think like, oh, maybe this parent isn't so bad, it's the other one. Like the other one lets them do something or like gives them advice that is just so ludicrous and ridiculous. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Well, like I thought, like we were kind of talking about this at like the beginning, where like, oh, the mom's like kind of the normal one, but then like you realize like she's literally cheated on like so many. She's had so many affairs, and it's
Yeah,
like,
and she lets the
does
little
that
kid.
make? Yeah.
How did they say how old the little kid is?
What did they say? I don't think
I can't remember.
can't remember
I
if
mean,
they
he's
said
got to
it.
be like
He's
9,
he's
10,
young.
maybe.
9 or 10, yeah. And he's like drinking beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, his mom just leaves him at home when she goes out on dates and stuff. Yeah, it's definitely not great parents.
No, like on both ends, it's just
Well, we guess we should talk about how competitive Jeff Daniels is and like how he can't, like, if he loses, it's an excuse, it's everyone else's fault. And then you see like Jesse Eisenberg like gets that. And I love his excuse for how he plagiarizes the Hey You song. He's like, well, I could have wrote it, so like technically
Yeah.
I can sing it and it's mine. And it's like, geez, that is such messed up logic
Yeah.
that you've gotten from like your dad. Essentially, every time he loses, he's like, oh, like it doesn't matter. He's like a nobody. Or yeah.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not how it
Yeah.
works, buddy.
And I love the line too, where Jesse Eisenberg's girlfriend, like when they're breaking up, like she said, like, "Oh, my dad said you didn't shake hands good, and it means like you're indecisive." And then he responds with, "Oh, he has like massive hands." Like,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, there was definitely a lot of funny parts in this movie.
Yeah, it's that awkward humor. Yeah.
Yeah,
for
it's like
sure.
awkward humor, cringe humor. Speaking of cringe humor, Sky, you want to talk about the library scene real quick, or?
oh God.
not
Should we?
not particularly. I mean, we can we'll sum
Yeah,
up.
let's
A couple,
Should we?
couple scenes, not just library scene.
Yeah, the kid's got some issues with
The younger,
sexuality.
the little brother.
Yeah, and they're taking the divorce hard, and they're acting out in various ways, and it's definitely disturbing.
Yeah, I think that's
But yeah,
about as far
I
as we should
think
go
I
with
think
that.
we should. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd prefer not to go.
Just
into
watch
details.
it. Just watch the movie. You'll
Yeah.
find out.
There's lines that we draw on the Movie Day podcast,
Yeah,
and that's one of them.
Well, it's just like
The
it's
line
comfort
line
level.
is a child rapist. That's the line.
None of that is in this movie, by the way.
No.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
And again, those are just allegations. But still. I'm trying to think what else in this movie. I guess we already talked about the Hey You,
Mm-hmm.
Pink Floyd stuff.
A lot of Pink Floyd. Hey You.
Yeah, they literally play that song like 3 times in it.
So I guess one thing we can talk about as well. I guess if you guys have anything else, we can talk about that first. But I'm kind of curious to see what you thought of the ending.
I was just gonna mention like how Jesse Eisenberg, like he was supporting the dad in like the first half of the movie, and then like at the halfway point, he kind of just switches over to the mom's side.
Well, it's more towards the end.
Yeah, I'd say it's
Well,
like the last
yeah,
20 minutes
left. Yeah.
Yeah, but like you can definitely tell like he was just like kind of done with the dad. He kind of seen like what the dad was really like, stop feeling sorry for him and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that first scene that
Because
he
of the
sees
girl.
where the dad is really like, oh,
Yeah,
where
with
he walks in on him
Lily's.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I forget the exact words he says, but then it's pretty rapey.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No,
And then he
it's
like
messed
turns
up.
and looks, and like just like the look in his eyes, it's like the amount of like that you can
Yeah.
portray with just your eyes in that scene is just insane. Jeff Daniels did such a good job in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's really the first scene, the first moment where he kind of starts to turn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I guess I can, if you want, I can just sum up what I think the ending means. I don't have like this great thing on it.
I
But
was just gonna say really quick, I like the shot too, where like him and Jeff Daniels were kind of like holding hands at the end where he is in the hospital, but it kind of just they let go. It's that really quick shot
Mm-hmm.
where it's like that's it. And he
yeah.
kinda, like moves on.
Well, yeah. I mean, they give the whole story, right? Like where his mom would just tell him about the squid and the whale. He was too scared to see it. So like again, I kind of just take it as like I make that literal, right? Like whether he was blind to it or not, he didn't see his parents divorce. Like obviously, like the dad even says like she's been cheating on him for 4 years. But again, he's been a piece of shit to her. So like that's why she's been cheating on him. She would like leave stuff out so he would see. But yeah, I guess the ending I take it as like he's like, okay, I'm not just gonna blindly like I'm not gonna let this stuff and be oblivious to it anymore. Like I'm aware of what my parents are, how they act, their flaws and stuff. Like I can become my own person now, essentially. Is kind of how I take it. I don't know if that's like right or wrong. But like he's essentially awakened to be like who he wants to be, and he doesn't have to like follow his dad's footsteps and literally just like I think the mom even says like you literally say or no that what is they like the same woman because they both had a crush on Lily.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
She's like, oh, they like the same women now too. Or
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, do you guys have a different interpretation, or is that?
No, I had a similar interpretation of it, like that you had. I kind of like throughout the movie, I kind of like thought of like I'm not sure which one would be which, but like the parents represented a squid and a whale because like they don't get along in nature, so like they won't get along in our nature. Like throughout the entire movie, you could tell like they could not get along
from the very first scene.
Yeah,
which was a great first scene, by the way. That really shows like the family dynamic, like Jesse Eisenberg and his dad, like on the one side, and then the mom, the other kid on the other side. And it's like how like tense and competitive, and like how fierce like it got at the end, is like a really great way to set the tone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought like literally the exact same thing for the ending.
Yeah.
Especially like with how he told the story of like how he couldn't look at it, and he's just like staring at it at the end. Definitely a nice, good, quick, to the point, nice little movie.
Yeah, it was definitely right to the point. We got right into the family heat right off the get go.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice to have it be an hour 20 minutes. I didn't think there was any pacing issues. It was like it was all in there to make it like a realistic like family, I guess, drama. Family that's going through divorce, and yeah, I think they set it all up good, went through everything, and then it ended perfectly.
I agree.
As do I. Do we have any final thoughts on the Squid and the Whale?
Nah, I think that's about it. That's
I
that's the
think
only
we
things
covered the whole thing, really.
Yeah. So, I believe it is me picks next.
Well, first, the ratings.
No.
Unless we're not gonna
The
consistently
arbitrary
get-
ratings.
Yeah.
The arbitrary.
I feel like that's what like everyone unfortunately wants though. They're like, well, how does this compare to all the other movies? Even
Yeah.
though like I've rated movies like tens that like I don't want to watch ever again. So it doesn't necessarily mean I like or love the movie. But I can still appreciate that it's
You're allowed to. I'll allow it.
We
Thank
allow
you.
it.
I guess I can start. I guess I had it at an 8, and I still think I'm gonna keep it at an 8. It's not a movie like I wouldn't say like I get the full enjoyment of what I would give an 8, but like it's definitely closer to a 7 than like a 9 or something. But I'll still keep it at an 8. I thoroughly enjoyed it the second time through, and I didn't really get more out of it, but I didn't get any less out of it either. Like there's still, yeah, all the acting, all that stuff's really good. So give it an 8.
Ryan, you want to go or do you want me to?
I can go. I gave it a 7. I thought it was pretty good all around. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have any like major flaws. You know, it's just a nice, quick little movie and right to the point, which is what I like. And yeah, I mean, you kind of can connect with some of the characters, you know, if you're dealing with that in real life, I guess. But you definitely can feel like what the characters are feeling, and like some of the scenes they kind of get a little emotional, but other scenes they're more comical and not as serious, but definitely a uncomfortable movie to say the least. Not sure if I'm gonna buy this one or not, but yeah, it's gonna be a 7 for me.
Yeah, I don't know if there will be a third viewing of this movie for me, but yeah, you never know, I guess. I think I did have this movie at a 7, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like teetering like the whole podcast, so like what I was gonna give it. I think I am gonna leave it at a 7. It's definitely closer to an 8 than a 6.
Okay.
But yeah, very very good movie. I like
Yeah,
it.
it's solid. Nothing wrong with it, really.
Yeah, it's not like like I guess a movie you want to watch a ton.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
but it's still
fine.
like a very good made movie.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah, it's like
well
one of
made,
those
for sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So now
now we get to your
my
recommendation.
recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am going with Luca Guadagnino's. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I'm going with his 2018 version of Suspiria.
Yes. I'm excited.
It'll be my second time watching it. It'll be your two's first time watching it, I believe.
I'm
Yes.
excited.
I am
love
as
me a
well.
horror.
It is something. But yeah, if you guys like this podcast, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well as leave a like and a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts, suggestions, and recommendations. To keep up with updates and other news regarding this podcast, follow our Twitter and like our Facebook page listed in the description below. Anything else you guys want to add?
No? I'm good.
Nope.
Alrighty. See you tomorrow.